Quick warning, this video is super scuffed, but if I still have your attention, welcome to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, or CSGO. Released in 2012, CSGO was created as a tactical first-person shooter, or FPS. Seeing as it was made to be a tactical FPS, CSGO is not your average FPS. You see, in most FPS games, guns are like lasers, always going to the spot where you'd aim. However, with CSGO being, well, CSGO, the way guns work are a little wonky. You see this AK? This is what happens when I do what I usually do in an average FPS. Now look at what happens here. See how my shots go where I want them to if I just take my time? Now look at what happens when I hold down left click while standing still. You may be wondering, I was standing still, why did my bullets go everywhere? And to that I would answer, because that's how CS works. Seriously though, that's what's known as a spray pattern. Every gun that allows you to hold down left click and let bullets fly, or spray, has its own unique spray pattern, and what you want to do to counter it is to move your crosshair in the opposite direction of where the original spray is heading, like this. Also about crosshairs, make sure you know where you're aiming. The general recommendation is to aim at head level because CSGO doesn't care if you hit that guy 20 times in the chest. All that mattered was the one deke he pulled on your head. Don't worry though, you'll get used to it eventually. One last detail to mention is that you have an assortment of guns to choose from, ranging from pistols, SMGs, rifles, the AWP, etc. Oh wait, I didn't tell you about the AWP, did I? Well, my friend, this beast of a gun is a one-shot hit everywhere but the legs and can penetrate anything that isn't concrete. It's a bolt action, so you have one shot until you need to pull back and get ready for the next one. Now that we know how gun go pew, let's go to a match. The way you move in CS is slightly different from other FPS titles. For one, you move faster when holding out your knife. When you enter a match, you get spawned into one of two teams, the terrorist or the counter-terrorist. You guys will play a series of rounds against each other, and during the end of the half, you'll switch sides. Now, each team has an objective. Depending on the map you're playing on, the counter-terrorist, or CTs, have to either defuse a bomb or rescue a hostage, while the terrorists, or Ts, plant a bomb on a site or prevent the CTs from rescuing a hostage. It's either that, or you can go ham and just kill the entire enemy team to win the round, as well as some money to spend. Oh right, this game has an economy. The end of each round will grant you money. You will then use that money to buy better weapons, equipment, or both. You know how I described the AWP as an overpowered beast? Well, good luck trying to buy it because it's one of the most expensive guns in the game, sitting at a whopping $4,750. The team who won that round will gain more money than those who lost. Don't worry though, because there's a thing called a loss bonus, which is essentially a meter that lets you gain a little more per loss until it resets. The rounds usually go as follows. Each team starts with pistols at the beginning of each half, the winning team gets to buy better guns, and the losing team has to make do with what they have. The losing team may win a round, which can make economy on each team equal, and so on and so forth. You basically keep doing this until one team reaches 16 or 9 rounds, depending on the game length you chose, or the game ends in a tie, which CS deems a win for some reason. Now that we know what we're supposed to do, and that money is a thing, let's move on to utility. I'll make this quick since there's not much to cover for the basics, so here we go. Mollies, they make a pit of fire to provide entry denial and do damage to you, your team, and your opponents, so don't be like my boy Jacob over here. Flashbangs, or flashes, blind anyone who looks directly at it when it goes off. You can reduce the effect by looking away before it explodes. However, this does not work in real life, so don't even try it. Smokes, they act as a barrier that obscures vision when you go through it. It's great for ambushes and making it easier to watch multiple angles. Decoys, they sound like flashes and smokes when they hit a surface and produce the sound of the current primary, if not secondary weapon you're in the possession of. This is used to bait out enemies and is better to use in later parts of the round. Finally, we have grenades. You throw it in the general direction and if it lands near someone, boom, you did damage to them. I recommend you go to YouTube and search CSGO nade lineups with the map you're on and learn where nades need to go so that you can be a helping hand to the team. Communication, one of the most important parts of CSGO. It's important to know what's going on, where it's going on. Each map has a list of positions you'll see at the top left corner of your screen. Some of these may include mid, catwalk, or cat, A site, B site, T spawn, CT spawn, etc. It's important to know the stuff because it helps you and your team know what to look out for. You'll also need to call positions of enemies, their weapon, and possible amount of health.
Where? Long.
Both sides.
You see how I stated their positions? I may not have called their weapons or health, but at least my team and I know where the people who want to kill us are coming from. Some indicators you can use to gain info are the sound of footsteps or the sound of direction of gunfire from the enemy team. Now that I've covered my version of the basics of CSGO, here are some tips I'll give. YouTube exists. Use it to learn more about the game because I didn't cover everything in this video. Warm up before hopping into a competitive game. It's better if you've already moved your hand than compared not to. Practice can lead to perfection, but perfection takes time. Don't expect to get better overnight. And learn how to handle tilt. Don't rage quit every time. It's not good. Play with friends. It's usually more fun that way. You know what you're doing and you guys can goof around whenever you want. And most importantly, have fun.
A long.
I trust you on that. No, I have to push A long with you, just in case.
Oh my goodness.